Mercury goes retrograde on July 17th or 18th, kind of depending upon where you are in the world. It's the 18th on the east coast of the United States, the 17th on the west coast. That's the dividing line. What do we need to know about Mercury retrogrades? So, generally, Mercury retrogrades, communication issues, being forgetful, travel interruptions, things like that. But I'm just curious if there's something more that we need to know as we navigate this. And this is part of this going to be from the weekly energies. First of all, the Earth literally did tremble in Alaska. So there was an earthquake in Alaska. So we were right about that. Appears that it was mostly harmless. Also right about that. So that's good. Um, but what do we need to know about this retrograde time? And really, I think maybe a better question is what should our focus be on? Because communications are going to be, mumble jumbled. The news is going to be half truths. Um, Lots of that. They say it's, during a retrograde, you shouldn't start new projects. I've never found that to be a problem, but I do think Mercury retrograde makes me forgetful. So, making sure I keep a calendar of what's going on, that I do think is important. So, what do we need to focus on? Just a couple cards here. Guess we get two. Surround yourself with protective energy, the arrow card. I think that's a important and good good advice. Just use your intuitions when you're going out. Your intuition is your protective energy that the universe gave you to use. Now, when we're young, we like to try to test our intuition by proving ourselves right by doing something that maybe we shouldn't do, that we know is not good for us, and then we get proven right, which strengthens our intuition. Let's not continue to do that as adults. Although, we're all guilty of it, so it's no harm, no foul if you do. But I do think surrounding ourselves with protective energy at this point is probably um, a really good idea. And, I'm not putting out alarm bells or anything, but, if you have the resources to make sure you have food for a week, um, I think that would also be a good thing because I think they're just going to be little annoyances to where you might not want to go out of the house. Um, and then honor your inner knowing, which this is about intuition as well, the medicine mother. So using that intuition to guide us through what sometimes can be a pretty challenging time with Mercury retrograde. Now, it's not always, and certain people react differently. It also depends kind of on your personal astrology as well. But I would think trusting our intuition, that just seems to be important, especially when it comes to things that we hear. Are they true? Trust our intuition on that. Is it a half truth? Is it not the full story? Um, these things. Yeah, messages coming forward. I think use our intuitions about that too. Personal messages, from love interests, for example, or from people wanting to give you money or borrow money or wanting to sell you something or buy something from you. These are all kind of these spots where our intuition is going to keep us from doing something that we'll later regret. So definitely a lot of intuition. I also feel like this is a good time to take a step back and heal, go over old wounds that maybe we haven't completely healed, um, re-grieve the losses of loved ones or that. maybe we didn't completely have the chance to grieve for when the loss happened. I get that for a lot of people. This would be a good time to do that. Retrograde Mercury's kind of allows you to revisit some communications that you perhaps regret and see them from a new light. So I don't think that's for everybody, but it's for somebody. Okay, what do we need to know about the Mercury retrograde? So it lasts until August 11th, and then there's this what they call the shadow, where it doesn't really appear to be moving forward, even though it is. So, of course, it's not actually moving backwards or forwards, right? That's just how it looks like from the Earth. This is interesting. The Three of Swords. There's this possibility for sabotage. I think this is why using our intuition and our inner wisdom is so important, because there's the possibility that people might not have our best interests at heart that we think do. So things can get mumble jumbled. Like we all kind of know not to trust used car salesmen. No offense to used car salesmen, but like just as an example, we kind of know not to trust those. But are we sure we should be completely trusting, financial advisors or um, family members that are swaying us to make a big purchase or things like that? They also say you shouldn't make a big purchase during a Mercury retrograde. So that might be truthful on this particular retrograde. Just know that we're going to be going through this feeling of kind of like, ugh, I'm kind of over it. Like I'm kind of, TV's hard to watch and enjoy. Books are hard to read and enjoy. It's like the only things that are really easy to enjoy are like physical activities such as like gardening, doing the dishes, which I know that sounds odd that you can enjoy doing the dishes, but cleaning the house, reorganizing, decluttering, things that give you a sense of accomplishment, I think are going to be important during these 3 weeks. Do you know that you really do have everything that you need? Maybe not everything that you want to get through this time period. It might just feel like you don't. So you might be sitting there thinking, oh, I'm so far behind on retirement savings. I'm so far behind on work and stuff like that. And that might be true, but you'll figure it out. I think that's the message. Lots of brainstorms, headaches. These are pretty commonplace during a retrograde Mercury. Confusion as well with the Five of Swords. So just make sure you're doing your due diligence on whether something is completely true or not. Um, but at the center, we have strength at the center of the reading, so that's good. Our intuition is strong enough to discern all these things. We just have to use it and trust it. So it's part of it. I think it's a good time to plan for things, not necessarily start them, but plan for them. Like what, you know, fall projects do we want to accomplish? These kind of things. It's okay to daydream too. Daydreaming about getting things done around the house in particular. The King of Wands, I'm going to take this in a slightly different way here. Beware the eloquent speaker. You know, might be speaking eloquently, but might not be telling the truth. So just beware that if you have somebody like that in your life, or someone who you listen to on a regular basis, that um is kind of has a little bit of power over you, so to speak. Um, that you're, yeah, I mean, there could be a lot of different places. It could be a boss at work, pastor at a church. Um, just kind of use your own intuition on the things that you're hearing. The Ace of Cups, new beginnings. So this gives us a chance to go back, heal from things, and give us a new start. So if you had said something, for an example, if you had said something hurtful to an adult child and you regret it, and you have the chance to go and redo that, revisit that. Why did I say that? Um, and kind of trying to repair that damage. So damage around communications, I think, is what we're able to repair. And the Lover's card, beware the unlikely partner, especially if they're trying to sell you something, you know, buying real estate, for example, maybe not the right time for that. Um, kind of it's just kind of a time to question everything, I think. Underneath, we have messages coming forward that are going to be muddled. Um, but the time is going to pass really quickly. And if you do meet a love interest, that's not to say that it's bad or that it shouldn't be trusted, but use your intuition. It's possible some of you are going to meet some love interests during this retrograde Mercury. Okay, I think we'll finish by just throwing, I think, just three animal oracle cards. This messages do we need to know about? Second. What messages do we need to know for this Mercury retrograde? Just three cards. These three, I guess. I guess there's four. The ant spirit, it's time to collaborate. Get a second opinion, I think is kind of what I've been saying um, on certain things. And the beaver spirit, make sure the foundation is strong. Um, and then this is what I was saying with respect to the healing, the snake spirit. It's a time to heal, and the healing's kind of assured, a rebirth is assured with the bat. So, you know, I don't think this time period is going to be super challenging more than the other period we've been going through. I just think it's kind of just there's a little bit more confusion than usual. So anyhow, I hope you found that helpful. I'll be back with another video.